Discretion is the first heart shift. It's learning to live in compassionate clarity. I know it's hard to imagine when you've got a dysfunctional situation in front of you and you're smack dab in the middle of a conflict, but compassionate clarity will remind you that the true enemy is God's enemy, and that your real battle is with the forces of unseen darkness, Ephesians 6:11 through 12, not with the humans that inhabit the space. This is true whether you're married to a dysfunctional husband or a dangerous man. Let's start with what compassionate clarity is not. Christendom loves to quote, "Love the person, hate the sin." That's wrong. Compassion isn't about hating outward actions and showing love to the person who's sinning, meaning they want you to embrace the husband who is chewing on your leg, but hate the fact that he's causing you to limp. Or in some cases, you can't even walk anymore because the sin against you is so deep, you've lost the ability in both your legs. And I'm not speaking metaphorically when I say the ability in both your legs. There was a point, I think I shared briefly in one of my introduction videos, I had lost the ability to walk for 2 years. I was stuck in a chair. My back and lower extremities were in so much pain because I had absorbed so much abuse into my body and my cells that my body was starting to give out. So that's not really a metaphor when I say lost the ability in both of your legs. Using the idiom, love the sinner, hate the sin, all it does in marriage is make a husband not accountable for his choices and actions. They've got it backwards, and that confuses the sheep that are living with an enemy in their home. But worse, it gives the wolves permission to continue to destroy a lamb. There's no embracing a person that's sinning against you. Embracing is the exact thing we are not supposed to do when sin is expressed. This is why I say, pull back from his actions. The sin he's done towards you, don't embrace it. Compassionate clarity is when you don't enable someone to be a better sinner. It's when you don't pretend that everything's fine, so that sinning against you becomes easier because you've just ignored it and called it love. We're all on a journey in this life, and that includes your husband. A healthy man doesn't wake up every day and want to fight with you. He doesn't look for ways to hurt you or take advantage of you. The difficulties and conflict you experience with him happen through ignorance, neglect, or lack of relationship skills that we can both have with each other. But the dangerous man, he wears the facade of ignorance. That makes all his abuse that's perpetuated against you appear like lack of relationship skills. The dangerous man does wake up with the intention to damage you every day. He's thinking of ways to push you or bait you into conflict, to hurt you, and to blame you. Compassionate clarity is not just choosing to not engage in conflict. It's intentionally reversing your focus like a car. You want to move backwards, away from him, instead of pushing forward towards him to try and figure it out. Whenever there's anything that's sitting in the space between the two of you, there's something that needs to be resolved, a problem that's turned into a conflict. Discretion is the embodiment of a quiet spirit. You can't stop and drop from cognitive thinking into a subconscious feeling while you are trying to actively engage in problem solving. It's the quiet spirit from verse 4 that honors God. But in order to embody that quiet spirit, you need time and space. You do what is right because your heart is what matters to God. He wants you to be fearless about your faith in him. Verse 6. Doing what is right is holding the peace within yourself. God calls her the inner woman. You can't stay in your peace if you're up in your head trying to solve a problem for your husband because he won't take responsibility for it. The definition of discretion is behaving or speaking in a way that avoids causing offense or revealing private information. The word quiet from 1 Peter 3 doesn't mean do not talk. That's the masculine perception. But to a female, it means there's a time to talk and a time not to talk. Discretion can feel the difference. There's already an offense between you two that you've tried to talk about. Discretion says you both know. What you're trying to clarify is motive. He will reveal himself if you just give him the opportunity to do it. By continuing to talk and talk and talk, you just push a healthy man away. But if you're married to a wolf, you're being gullible because you're revealing private information that discretion wouldn't. See, as a broken lamb, you manifest as a people pleaser or a codependent. I use the terms interchangeably because there's so much overlap in the behaviors. They're basically the same brokenness. As that people pleaser, you're always centered on others as the outcome for your connectedness and for a sense of validation. So what you end up seeing is that a quiet and gentle spirit is always for others, but it's actually for you first. You cannot love others as you love yourself if you do not love yourself first. But instead of focusing on self-care first, we focus on others first. And that's why we veer into one of two errors, and both lack discretion. We think that quiet and gentle spirit means just take all the abuse and don't say anything. You know, love your husband, but hate his abuse. Or you push forward into your masculine in your overthinking and over-explaining, doing all the work to try and explain what he's done wrong to you and resolve the conflict for him. Both of these are blinding to the reality of how femininity thinks and feels. You won't be able to see the difference between a healthy but difficult husband who's relationally dysfunctional and a man that's truly dangerous and toxic. When you continue to push forward to solve a problem that he's responsible for, it's how you emasculate a healthy man. A healthy husband wants to solve his own problems. Success and accomplishment boost up his testosterone. He feels more of his masculinity through achievement, especially if that achievement is fixing a problem with you.